But the best feature about this camera is actually... What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a minute since the last one, so thanks for each and every one of you who tuned in anyways. Today I want to talk about my collection of 35mm film cameras that I have right now, because I got a lot of them over the course of the last few years. Because I did a video 2 years ago where I talked about my journey of getting into film photography, my very first roll of Kodak Portra that I shot, but since then so many things happened and I shot so many more photos. So I thought I'd guide you a little bit through the process of why I got each camera and what kinds of photos I shoot with it. So stay tuned, I'm gonna make myself a coffee real quick and see you in a bit. Alright guys, let me introduce you to the one camera that started it all for me, and that is the Minolta Riva Zoom 125. This camera has a zoom range between 37.5 up to 125mm in focal length, and has an aperture between 5.4 and 10.3, which is unfortunate because the lowest aperture that you can go to is 5.4. Yeah, not that great, which can be problematic with film. But I was pretty surprised because from all my point and shoots, this thing produced the best images so far. So the story behind this camera is, when my grandma died, we had to empty the apartment and I found two point and shoot cameras, one of which was this little thing here. The other one was a Pentax. I don't know which model, but the other one was quite damaged already. That was the one that I chose to have with me all the time. It's great for traveling, it's lightweight. I'm not so impressed, like I said, with the aperture, but funny enough, it produced actually the best photos of all the point and shoot film cameras that I have. It has auto exposure, built-in flash, and the flash is actually pretty usable. Motorized film, advanced rewind, DX coated film, and also it is powered by one CR123A lithium battery. So this one and the Pentax started it all for me. So I got hooked and I wanted to learn more about film photography. But because this is a point and shoot and I wanted more control over the image, something like shutter speed, aperture control and all that stuff, and learn more about film and film photography, I wanted something like a DSLR to shoot film with. The next camera on the list is the EOS 3, the one that I already showed in my last video. This one has a special place in my heart because it was the first DSLR camera that I had, and it's pretty amazing. It has all the modes that you need. It got autofocus with 45 AF points selectable, including eye control autofocus. I never used it, but it's pretty amazing. I mean, it's pretty techy as well. I don't need it with my style of shooting, but it's pretty cool that you can do stuff like that. So when you look through the viewfinder, it's tracking where you look and it focuses where you rest your eyes. I tried it once. It worked kind of well. You need to train the camera with your eye. So it needs user calibration in order for the feature to work. I use single point autofocus all the time. That's what works best for me. So this feature is a nice thing to have, but I don't need it for my body of work. So let's move on. DX coding, and it detects the DX code automatically, but you can also override it by manually putting in your ISO value. Power supply is one 2CR5 battery. You need batteries for this camera to work. It is not completely mechanical. Weather resistance, it is sealed. I don't think it's safe to go bathing with it. Keep that in mind. It got no built-in flash, but it has a hot shoe mount, so if you are into flash photography, then you got covered by the hot shoe. Unfortunately, the camera got damaged because it fell out of my camera bag. Yeah, it got damaged here on the display, and now I can't see the camera modes. I can't see the film speed. That's when I decided I need to buy another one. The next camera on my list is the Canon A1. Because before the Canon EOS 3 broke down, I decided to buy a manual film camera, something like this vintage A1. At one point you have to buy one of these to try it out, man. It has some automatic features that I come to in a bit, but it is a different experience. It is way slower. You have to manually focus, rewind the film, go to the next frame, all manual. But anyways, this camera has shutter priority, aperture priority, and AE program, manual focus with FD lenses, which I will cover in another video because I actually got a whole set of vintage Canon FD lenses. DX coding is not supported, so you have to put in the film speed by yourself. You have no built-in flash, but a hot shoe mount. The viewfinder has a digital LED showing shutter speed, aperture, and the mode you're in. But very important, as manual as it is, it doesn't work without a battery. So you need a battery in order to operate the camera. It's not fully mechanical or something. I love this camera, but I don't shoot often with it because it is a slower process. And most of the time I just want to shoot snapshots. So unfortunately, I rarely shoot on this camera, but I like it a lot, and the image quality is amazing. The next camera on my list, actually there are two cameras, but I will start with this one, is the EOS 650. As I mentioned, my EOS 3 broke down and I originally was planning to just buy another one, but because of the price tag of the EOS 3, it's almost approximately 300 euros. I was searching the internet for cheaper options. This one still works. It is only the display that is broken. To repair the display, it would probably cost more than the camera itself. So I was looking for something cheaper that does the same job. And that's when I found two cameras at the same time. But I started with this one because it has approximately the same size. I only shot one roll of film through this camera because I got the other one as well, but I will talk about it in a minute. This camera is amazing. It got autofocus, shutter priority, aperture priority, and you can operate it fully manual. It automatically detects DX coding, or you can manually override the setting by putting in your custom ISO value. No built-in flash, but a hot shoe as well, so you can attach an external flash to it. It got EF mount, so again Canon lenses. And if I can trust this website, it was the first EOS camera. So this camera right here started the whole EOS ecosystem. And the next camera on my list is actually this one. I know it doesn't look like much. It is completely made of plastic. But the thing about this camera is it got almost the size of my point and shoot camera. This became my daily driver when I shoot 35mm film because of the weight and because of the size. It has almost the size of my point and shoot camera, but I can attach any Canon EF lens to it. That means it is extremely versatile. It also has all the features that you would need. 7-point TLL phase detection AF system. Exposure modes are program AE, shutter priority, aperture priority. You can operate completely manual or in several scene modes. I never used them, but they are there. It automatically detects DX coding. Power supply are two CR123A lithium batteries. There's a built-in flash with ETTL flash metering. I gotta admit, I don't know what that means because I'm not so much into flash photography, but it got all that, and the built-in flash is actually pretty cool. It is compact, it is lightweight, it starts up very quickly, and the viewfinder information includes shutter speed, aperture, exposure level, and the focus confirmation. When I was watching YouTube videos to find alternatives for my broken down EOS 3, I found a video just like this one of a guy who was explaining his journey, how he found his perfect film camera. He talked a lot about his camera collection and how he bought this one, the EOS 650. But in the end, he wanted a smaller package and landed on this one, the EOS 300V. And this is what I did as well. So I bought the EOS 650, and while I already bought it, but I hadn't arrived yet, while I was waiting on this camera, I actually bought this one, and then they arrived, I think even at the same day. I tested both of them, and I kept the other one as well, because it's always great to have one camera to fall back on if one gets broken, or if you need another one, or you want to shoot like 2 films at the same time. So I kept both of them, but this one became my daily driver if I have any type of project, because I'm not shooting film exclusively. Most of the stuff that I work on requires some sort of digital camera, and I like to have this film camera with me just to shoot behind the scenes or snapshots, stuff like that. So it is great to have a film camera that doesn't leave such a huge footprint in your camera bag. The good thing about this camera is it has all the features that all the other cameras have, but it has a built-in flash and also is way smaller. But the best feature about this camera is actually that when you load film into the camera, it unloads the entire roll of film and rewinds it back 1 frame at a time, which means that whenever you take a picture, it rewinds that frame into the cartridge. Which also means that if you were ever to open up the rear camera compartment before rewinding the film, all the shots that you have taken up to this point are safe because they are already back in the cartridge, which is pretty amazing, and I wish all my cameras had that feature, to be honest. Alright, to the last camera on my list, and it's really actually just a bonus camera because I shot on it once and I didn't like it at all, but it's that one. It is called the Minolta Riva AF35. If I read that correctly here in the manual of the camera, it got a 35mm lens with a 4.5 aperture. It has automatic DX code detection, but there's a caveat and I will talk about this in a second. It has a built-in flash, which is okay, and is powered by 2 AA batteries. I bought it on a flea market. Features look great on paper, but I gotta say I had not such a great experience shooting it. It misses focus a lot. I had like subjects right in front of me and it would just focus on the background, and I had a lot of motion blur in the photos because it tends to go to a low shutter before setting down the aperture, I believe. Also, I read in the manual it has something called crippled DX decoding, which means that films below 400 ISO will be rated at 100 ISO, and films that are 400 ISO and above will be rated at 400 ISO, which means it will overexpose every film that isn't either 100 ISO or 400 ISO. And also, despite the fact that I shot on 400 ISO film, it looked very dark, would miss focus or focus on the background, and therefore I don't use it anymore. Alright, that's it for the video. I hope you liked it. And if you liked it and you're still here, come on man, just subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. And also, if you have any question regarding the cameras that I showed you or anything else, just hit me up in the comments. I will see you there or in the next one. Bye.